for the start of the second half. No change of shirts here. They're wearing the same muddy shirts that they wore in the first half. Both sets of players battled hardened in this mud, which will have taken a lot out of the legs in that first half as well.
Well, it's a long time since I played, but I hated to replace my shirt if I was playing well. If I was playing rubbish, I couldn't wait to change it. So I think, but these fitted shirts now, it's difficult to get them on and off. If the players are comfortable with them, that's what they'll stick with.
So we're going to get the second half underway in just a second. Our referee, to remind you today, Mr. Liam Moore. Whitehaven, who there's a bit of an ironic cheer there, because it took Craig Hall so long to balance the ball on the tee. The Whitehaven fans, well, you might have been a bit of a fancy down there. Get on with it, lad. Anyway, we are on with it, and it's Whitehaven who get first touch of the ball in this second half, looking to get themselves back into the contest. 14-0 they trail, so mathematically 3 tries, 3 scores they trail by, so big task for them in the mud in a low-scoring game in this second half. But they'll be led by their coach there, Carl Forster, still out there, still showing them the way forward, and trying to find somehow a way through. McAvoy down that left-hand side.
It was a good carry from McAvoy, wasn't he?
Short of the halfway, but taking it closer. I think this is Riley in the mud, who's just about a couple of steps inside Toronto territory, but 6 tackles. So down the blind side, and a kick away from Lewis Foster, the young hooker. QLT keeps it alive. Dangerous here for Whitehaven, because Toronto keeping it alive.
Well, they work really, really hard, the back 3 for the Toronto Wolfpack. That's Pownhall, QLT and K, to try and make some opportunities for the big blokes when they get back onto from the kick recovery, from the chase of Whitehaven.
Well, it is mining territory around here, isn't it? The Miners Welfare Club is just literally 100 yards from where we're standing watching this game, and they look like 2 sets of miners who've just come up from a shift in the pit, don't they? The odd white face, the odd eyeball you can see, but shirts are getting muddier and muddier, and handling getting more and more difficult.
And that's a good result for Whitehaven. They've forced an error there on, I think it was Bezic, was it, or Jax? I'm not sure. Maybe Bezic carried the ball and dropped it at the end of it. That's a great result for Whitehaven. You say they've got the camera in this. Will they kick early in the play, try and restrict that Wolfpack yardage?
So again, they're taking the time here, conserving energy. Little feed in by Crook, taken on by Roper, and bringing in Jesse Joe Parker.
They're desperate to get Parker into some kind of space, aren't they? All their players are designed around getting Jesse Joe on the front foot. This boy will help Riley. He's got to be big and strong and take them forward.
Proper Cumbrian lad, as many of them are. Up and plays. Options right and left. And it's Tilley who's disappearing under a mound of defenders.
It was a good tackle from Dixon, wasn't it?
Offside against Toronto. So what are they going to do here? Well, why they decide, let's hear from Aaron Murphy, who's got some injury news down on the sidelines. Aaron, what's the news?
Thanks, guys. Greg Worthington hasn't come out to the pitch for the second half. He took a knock in that first, and it looks like he's got an upper body injury. Not sure the severity, but Worthington won't play any further part in this contest.
Okay, thank you. Forster very close to working her way through here. This is an excellent position here from Whitehaven, the best they've had so far in this game. Crook moving in, dummy half, options right and left. Does he recognise any of those faces? It's Roper now, who gets a pass away.
Good tackle, Whiting.
Whiting in.
Had options left and right, didn't they, Whitehaven? And Whiting picked the danger.
Jesse Joe Parker looking back for the middle again here. Stepping and sliding as he goes, but put down. Everett was in there to make the tackle, I think. Now it's up and played again. Forster back to Crook. He is submerged by those muddied figures. 5 gone. Here comes the last. Little delicate kick to the in-goal area, and it's knocked on, I think. Was that QLT who got down and has knocked it on?
It was. Nice little kick. Stuck in the mud. Stuck off QLT's hands, so it's another set of 6 for this Whitehaven team in the right part of the field, right under the sticks. What have they got to offer? Rest of the scrum first.
Yes, they're taking their time again here. Taking their time again here. In it goes from Crook. Out it comes to Roper. Jesse Joe Parker stepping again. It's a familiar route he's taking, but a familiar pair of arms he runs into. Everett's there again to make the tackle. So 5 tackles to go here for Whitehaven. Pushing and pushing at this Toronto defence. Can the Wolfpack hang on? Haven't conceded a point in the league so far this year, have they? Is this to be the moment? Riley. 5 away. Up and played. And now it goes left. Foster running into trouble. Put down. Little glance around by Crook again, who's in there. And now the kick towards that in-goal area. Well, it holds up in the mud, and that did Toronto a
It was
favour.
the right idea, but it held in the mud, didn't it? He was on the fly, and now it's a Toronto turn to get out of their own half. They've been under pressure for the last 3 sets.
Dixon's done well. Now it's Kay. Running around, but running into trouble. Whitehaven hands all over him. And Hall will take it on now. Clattering towards him came Connor Holliday. And then 2 more. So Bezic collects. It's like they're coming out of the trenches here. Offside, too keen. Whitehaven defence up too keen. Overstepping the mark. Called offside. Question being asked by Scott McAvoy. Answer delivered by the referee. Penalty kick. Toronto. Touch is found. Yep. Dave Thompson had a little look at that. Thought he might have a chance to leap in the air, but it was 10 feet over his head. The tap taken by Bezic. And in it comes in the first instance from Sidler, who's 30 metres from that Whitehaven line. Early play in this second half. Dixon now sliding forward and down. Bezic collects. 4 tackles to go here for Toronto. Wallace is making himself available, but Bezic's going to go himself and out to Jackson. Jack's quick hands to QLT. They're trying to isolate them here and gets the ball out to Pownall, and Pownall puts the afterburners on. And again, it's a despairing tackle. Last-ditch tackle that denies him.
It's Elliott, was it? Miller, sorry, Elliott Miller.
Elliott
Did
Miller.
he get across? Pownall going for the corner, going for the corner, going for the corner. Well, we can't go to the screen, so we don't know, but Elliott Miller's a massive effort there to not allow the score.
Yeah, Burns as well involved, the two
Was it Burns,
together.
was it? Sorry.
Yeah. I think,
Miller.
the two together. Miller and Burns. Burns gets a hand on. Miller comes across. Yeah, I don't think he quite had control, did he?
No.
So again, the officials on the spot making the right decision, and Jesse Joe Parker will bring it away. 7.5 minutes of this second half played. It's entertaining. It's a different form of rugby league than we'd want to watch every single week, I think. But every now and again, it is entertaining, these kind of conditions, isn't it?
It's rugby league, Jim, but not as we know it.
Crashed down again.
It's tough.
It is.
It's durable. It's showing the character of the players massively. Shows the reckless nature of what that great offload from Foster.
Yeah, one of those where you really have to doff your cap at the energy, the enthusiasm, the sheer will to get out there and work hard from both sides here today, because conditions are awful. And Whitehaven looking for a kick.
Oh.
Pownall collects. And here comes QLT. Penalty. Well, he seemed to be falling there.
He was falling, but you're not allowed head contact, so whilst there's a lot of noise, he's down by his bootlaces, but I think he does catch him round there. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's a swinging arm to the head.
It is. Well, I'll tell you, it's hard distinguishing players on either side. I think it's going to get more difficult to actually distinguish which side's which as this game goes on. It is Toronto who have the penalty. 14-0 they lead. So the tap restart will be on the halfway line. The RFL have a rule that teams are not allowed to wear similar coloured shirts so that we can tell them apart. And when they started off, it was black against white, wasn't it? It was the biggest contrast you can get, but less and less. Here's Laithwaite now, channeling it forward. Toronto working their way back to where they want to be. Emmett waits now for his turn to carry it in. In fact, he gets the little pass away to Sidlow. Those two are the starting props today, back on in harness again. Wallace, and the pass to Dixon, who's crashed into defenders coming flying at them. Carl Foster was one of those.
Had a dig on us, isn't he, Foster?
Bezic going left. QLT involved, but great enthusiasm again from those Whitehaven defenders. Up and around, slung back towards the middle. Wallace with a kick. Danger here as it bounces in the in-goal area. There were flailing arms and flapping feet, but it's kicked out of play and will be a drop out underneath the sticks here.
On the kicking sense of things, I think that's a terrific kick from Wallace. Just the right kind of weight. Fullback has to play that ball. In fact, I think it's the hooker that has to play that ball because of the chase from Bussy on, who trying to get his name on the score sheet there. And is it Alstrom?
Steve Roper.
Steve Roper,
yeah. You
can tell with the number on his back.
Yeah, ex-Rochdale Oldham. He played at Oldham and Rochdale last year, and you might remember Oldham pulled off a massive surprise in the Cup. Remember that against Hulkingston Rovers? Yeah. And he was man of the match that day, was Steve Roper. Wigan born. He's played at Wigan and Warrington and Widnes as well in the academy levels, the young levels. And that is a knock-on. So there's a bonus for Whitehaven, expecting to defend a full set of 6. Instead, they should get the ball back here, all things being equal, from the scrum.
They just won't go away, this Whitehaven team. They're being vigorous in the tackle. They're throwing the Wolfpack players around, and in these conditions, it's real difficult to show your prowess on the skill front, other than the skills that I believe are just as worthy, the character and the durability and the discipline and the simple plays are the ones in these kind of conditions.
Simon Finnegan there, the assistant coach, and Paul Rowley we just saw. Communication from either side of the pitch. And just explain what was being held in the background now. It's a bit of technical wizardry. Screen that's being held in the background.
It's just the game. So they can replay incidents, 5-second replay on incidents to ensure they've got the right message and the right features of direction.
So Whitehaven moving their way back towards the halfway line. Toronto putting the work in. Emmett and Whiting both involved, as was Jacks. Sprints back to the line to get himself in position to defend again now. Pushed forward here. That's Holland, who's tackled on the halfway line. Tommy Holland, who gets up and plays. And a little soft-handed pass out to Riley. But it doesn't over-trouble the Toronto defence. Keeping the work rate good here. High from Roper. QLT with a catch. Pownall in position to sweep round the back and trying to launch an attack from here. But they were waiting.
They've been good, the Toronto back three. They've had to be good. They've been tested by this Whitehaven team.
Kay's pass was loose. QLT wasn't looking, but it is collected by Wallace, who was standing out in the left wing position. Just a little bit of looseness. Kay. There was hesitation there because it didn't look like he played the ball. Whitehaven fans are certainly insistent on that. And Emmett will push it forward again. Bezic rolls in at acting half, and a penalty is going to be given.
It's just getting a little bit scruffy on both sides because the ball's sticking in the mud, so it's hard to clear your feet in relation to what you're playing and not what you're not playing. And if you're hanging on a little bit too long, when Jake Emmett clearly found his front there, so the referee's adjudicated, he'd every right to get up and play that ball a little bit quicker. So he's saying that they hung on too long, the Whitehaven defenders.
Kick to touch hasn't travelled too far downfield, but they have the ball in hand here, Toronto, as Bussy, who was a star at the Broncos last year and will be playing, all things being equal, against the Broncos next week, of course, in the Challenge Cup. That will be
I thought Bussy got rattled there. He was wobbling around when he got up.
And it comes from Bezic. Emmett again. Wallace. Not a standoffs day today, is it? But Wallace. Oh, and look at this. James Tilley comes on. Where's he come from? It's like we have an invader on the pitch all of a sudden.
James Tilley cunningly disguised as Gary Wheeler.
Gary Wheeler, it is. It is. Sorry, Gary Wheeler. Wrong side. Gary Wheeler on the pitch.
Just tell him not to get tackled, and we'll get him right all the time.
Yeah. How ironic's that? The only man with a clean shirt. I got his name wrong. Anyway, here's Wallace. Wallace goes out to QLT. QLT is going to be wrapped up. 25 out, 5 gone, 1 to go. Bezic looks left. Wallace has it again. Dabs it. Could go anywhere here. Could go anywhere here. Picked up by Kay, but he's picked up by 4 defenders.
So is that back to 0 or is it back to 1? Yeah. Was he?
I think. I'm not sure. We'll have a look again. Here's Wallace skipping and dancing. And he's put down. I think he must have waved another set of 6 here because of the touch from Whitehaven. Now Bezic going left again. They're going to hurl themselves at the line here. Just about held at bay. Terrific defence going on at the moment, and a charge from dummy half. But it's held up, I think. Held up.
What's he doing?
Oh, the referee's given it. The referee's given the try. Put it down, he said. Quite clearly, he saw that
clearly
as being put down.
Who was it? QLT? Who would know? Who was it? Who dove over, Dave? That's a great mystery now. We just need to clarify for our viewers who dives over from dummy half.
Bezic goes left, and then the drive in here, and the ball is held up. It's the next play, isn't it, that leads to the try?
It is.
He's quite clearly held up. Bezic. And Bob Bezic will claim the try.
Well, they all count. Get low, get sharp, get the ball down. Tough to defend there. Everybody digs so hard in these conditions, and a little bit of tiredness on the line. It's hard to get underneath.
So Hall with a chance to add the 2. His kicking has been perfect so far, hasn't it? And here he comes. Well, we've jinxed him because he's put it wide. But 3 out of 4, 18 points to 0. The lead for the Wolfpack against Whitehaven. Scruffy as they come, but as Brian says, they all count. You know it's a muddy day when you need someone to bring a towel on so you can clear your eyes, so you can see. Well, in one respect, the task has not got that much more difficult for Whitehaven because they still need 3 scores to get something out of the game. But now it's 3 scores to tie the game. And they'll be anxious, will Whitehaven, to keep Toronto penned deep inside their own half in this set. Bussey, though, brings it out a stride or 2. Bezic going left. Big efforts.
Well, all the forwards deserve maximum praise you can give them. Sidlow's been good. Foss has been good when he's come on and made an impact. You know, the Shackley's done well. So that it's this toil, we don't always recognise what they're actually doing in and around there.
Not square, and they can complain about that, but I mean that was a fairly obvious one, wasn't it?
Well, just for our viewers in Canada, you have to stand behind. If you're marking defensively, you cannot stand side by side. He's clearly side by side, and pings penalty.
Emmett. It's like Captain Caveman out there, doesn't he?
He's done
Jake
well
Emmett?
today, hasn't he, Jake Emmett?
Worked and worked and worked. He won't want to see a muddy field for a long time after today. Wallace across the line. Gary Wheeler, QLT, pushing it away. Gary Wheeler wants of St Helens and Warrington, and speaking to 1 or 2 St Helens fans this weekend, saying they wouldn't mind if seeing him still playing for St Helens at the moment.
They're doing it tough at the moment, aren't they, Saints? But they played tough the other night, but
yeah.
Hull just ground one out, didn't they?
Bezic, and here comes Wallace. Oh, and the pass is intercepted. And a chance for Paul Crook. Well, he would have had a look up and thought the try line's 80 yards away. Can I get there? And then his feet slipped from underneath him.
And he was in the middle of the field as well.
Yeah. But it's a big moment in terms of Whitehaven getting the ball back again here. Up they get and on they go.
It was a good carry, wasn't it? Thompson.
Yeah, he's former England Academy international. Penalty as well has been won here. Always a good sign at a winger when he gets a penalty. The difficulty is to deal with.
It's hard to argue with that one. Liam Cage was just disconnected from him a little bit, so he's been bumped off there, goes back into the play to try and the referee adjudicates. You can't do that, Mr. K. Penalty.
Crook puts it out. Taylor with the tap. First take in is by McAvoy, who's 20 metres out when he's put down. Back towards Crook. Now Shackley. Mark Shackley. It's had quite a spell at Workington. Did Shackley's in his second spell here at Whitehaven. Gets up and plays it now. And it's skimmed to that left-hand side. And a step by Roper. But he can't find a way through. Toronto's defence is like a curtain at the moment. They can't run through it. An iron curtain. 10 metres from their own line. Pushed in by Holland. Wants to get the arms free, but Emmett comes running over to make sure that he's just toppled over to slow things down a little more. Shackley's done it to him. Instead it comes out to Alstrom.
They're trying to create that little bit of space in this Toronto line to get over.
Try here would light things up. Oh, that's a really clever kick from Paul Crook. Really clever kick. Elliot Miller, the fullback, read it superbly. Everyone was expecting a kick to the corner. Crook went back down the middle. Miller's chased and touches it down.
Yeah, set play from Whitehaven. Struggling to find any space, so it has to be a kick play that gives them this opportunity. And Crook with a dexterity reverse kick back for Miller, who's on the inside, and all he has to do is fall on that and get himself the 4-pointer. Smart play from Workington, exposing a little bit of a frailty there. It's hard to turn in these conditions, so the fullback's taken out of the equation. He's coming to the left. You see QLT in the picture there. Anything that comes back against the grain is a straight inning. Well done, Miller. Well done, Whitehaven.
And Crook gets the chance to kick the goal as well. They call him the Ginger General, Paul Crook, at Rochdale. A day like today, you don't even know what colour hair he's got.
It doesn't look ginger, does it?
It doesn't look ginger.
Getting confused with my towns around here. Clearly a Whitehaven score. Did I say Workington?
I don't know. Somebody said he did. Crook with a kick. Oh, it's a flapper. Oh, he's hit the post.
My goodness.
He's hit the post. Oh, means they still have to score 3 times here. But Elliot Miller's put his name into a little bit of rugby league history. He's the first try scorer in a league game against the Toronto
And
Wolfpack.
it's a worked play. They've had difficulty breaking the Toronto line because it has been strong, in fairness. And it's a smart play that opens it up. A reverse kick. Miller's always going to have the advantage there because stopping and starting on this field is practically impossible. Once you decide to go a certain way, it's slip sliding away from you.
Millen-born, Elliot Miller, ex-Workington. He was with Hull for a while as well, wasn't he, with the under-20s in the academy. So there's some real pedigree in this Whitehaven side, you know, some potential. Players who've certainly tasted rugby league at a higher level that they're playing it at the moment. But Whitehaven, 10 from their own line. 62 minutes played. Jesse Joe Parker comes tracking
now,
back.
Jesse Joe, here he goes.
Wow, that's a good carry from Jesse Joe.
Strong carry.
So 4 for Whitehaven, 18 for Toronto. If Whitehaven can get back-to-back scores here, we've got a game on our hands. Tommy Holland will take it in and down he goes. Slow play the ball. Jesse Joe's having another go. Wants another dig at those Toronto defenders. Up to the 40-metre mark. Inch by muddy inch. They're making ground here. James Newton back on just inside Toronto territory. Six tackle coming up. Here comes Crook. Puts the kick downfield. Pownall has to turn. Picks it up. Out of the quagmire. Runs it back. Sees Whitehaven players coming at him.
Good carry. Evaded 2 tacklers there to give a bit of space.
Kay in the middle to do a bit of work. 16 to go. Ooh, they're falling all over him. Get up, get him played on. Crossley. Steve Crossley. Slugging it in again. I hope the bath's a hot one when they get back in the dressing rooms. Emmett almost making a bust. Wheeler was there on his shoulders. Bezic pushes the big teammate out of the way. Passes out to that right-hand side where Pownall was waiting. 5 gone, just inside Whitehaven territory now. Here it comes with Wheeler, who puts it high.
That's going to move a little bit. Tough catch. It sticks. It moved about an inch in the mud. I meant in the air, it was spiralling around, but it just went ka-plop when it hit the mud.
It's going nowhere, was it? Terrific, absolutely terrific. Here comes Thompson, the winger, in the middle. They're trudging back into position here, Whitehaven players, to launch themselves again. The Wolfpack come across, hunting in 3s on this occasion. Ball is played, picked up by Newton. James Newton.
Impact, hasn't he? The last couple of carries have been quite incisive and getting a bit of momentum for the Whitehaven team.
He's another who's had a spell at Hull FC as well. Oh, it's a little step away. He's done well enough there, and suddenly it's moved towards that left-hand side. And Whitehaven, though, running out of tackles here.
I think he should have passed them, but he didn't know that they were white shirts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he didn't know if they were teammates or not. Sing us a song. Let me see if I can recognise your voice. Kick downfield, QLT catches it. Not a day for QLT, but he almost slides through. We're going to hold up here because there's an injury. Looks as though he should be okay, just a little shaken at the moment, but
it's a Whitehaven play, isn't it?
It is a Whitehaven play, yeah. Elliot Miller, try scorer. Well, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. Takes a bit of time out of the game as well. Takes a bit of a sting out of Toronto. So here we go. Crossley carries it up towards that halfway line. Toronto moving back into position again here now. Left it comes to Wallace. QLT. Forest of defenders ahead of him, so he's going nowhere. 40 metres away. Rhys Jacks, the ex-Sheffield Eagles player, in. And Wallace away to that right-hand side. Wheeler, quick ball away. Laithwaite came running in on the angle, but he was trudging through mud, so not a lot of speed there. And now it goes to Wheeler again, and Wheeler puts the chip over the top. Pownall is after it, on the chase. It sticks in the mud again, and Miller, I think, picks it up almost by default.
I think he's knocked it on there.
Referee says a knock on, and he's going to give head and feet to Toronto.
That's
10
right
metres out.
It's a great kick from Wheeler. Powling on the fly. Miller has to play at it, and does there, and is adjudicated to have knocked it on. Fly kick from Pownall into him, and knocks it on. So smart player, nice short side kick from. Taking a little bit of a tip out of the Whitehaven book there, haven't they? Just little short side kicks, calling a little bit of drama and trepidation in the Whitehaven defence. And
well, while we wait, I was going to say while we're waiting, we're going to have a chat with Aaron, but we'll just have a look at this now because 6 tackles to go. He's stopped the clock. So Aaron, what have you got to say on that far side?
No, just a quick one. I saw Carl Forster have a quick powwow with the director of rugby, James Robinson, who joined us live in the halftime. But they basically alluded after that try that there's plenty of time here, settle it down and try and run the ball back, use their tackles and attack the Wolfpack, who they felt were getting a little tired in the mud here, guys.
Well, it's Toronto who are attacking at the moment, though. Hall put down. This could be a pivotal moment of the game with just about 12 minutes left to play. If Whitehaven hang on here, they are still in the contest. If Toronto scores, then you suddenly feel that it's only going to go one way. Wallace goes out to Wheeler. Wheeler with a quick pass. Whiting out to that right-hand side. Pownall's waiting for it. Pownall back and touches down. Silences the crowd here at the Recreary. quick, clean hands on a muddy, wet day. Pownall the scorer, and it might just be game over here for Toronto.
Well, this is a pleasure in these conditions to chance your arm and execute the skill in the way that they do. Whiting with a end pass there to Pownall, who cuts in to finish the play. They created the numbers, and lovely play from the base. So hands from Emmett, from Wallace, Whiting at the end with the big harbour bridge, and Pownall cuts back inside, and that's a very good try in these conditions. Here we see it again from a different angle, a good angle, and catch and pass, a run in a passing game, rugby league, and Pownall still needs to score and cuts inside and finishes the play.
I think that's his third of the season, isn't it? A couple of tries last week and one here today. The other winger, Liam Kay, in the scoring as well. And Craig Hall with a chance to add the two. Settling into it again here, Craig Hall sends the ball high in the air, and he's got the right direction on it as well. So 24 points to 4, Hall's fourth success from 5 attempts, and it looks like it's going to be Toronto's day.
We look at this from behind the scenes. It's not easy to execute this kind of play in these kind of conditions, but fluent. It's important that the way you practice is the way that you try and execute, irrespective of the conditions. If you're a running and a passing team, try and keep with your principles where you possibly can, and that's a terrific finish.
So restart again with the big boot of Paul Crook. Just holds up in the mud. Laithwaite brings it back. Just got a glimpse of his ginger eyebrows there. Gave his identity away. And in by Everett, who's up and down. Now a big effort by Crossley. 3 tackles gone. Toronto running the clock down now. 10 minutes to play. Emmett still putting in the effort. Still putting in the effort. Still wants that ball and wants to confront those who are coming at him. Quickly out of dummy half, it's taken by Jacks. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And then he passes forward. The referee decides, hits a Whitehaven player, goes to ground. And again, I think it was just a case of mistaken identity. He didn't know who he was looking at.
Picked one of 3, I think.
Yeah.
And he picked the wrong one because nobody picked it up. It was clearly a Whitehaven shirt coming back, but he'd done the hard bit. Nice little break up the middle. Yeah, puts his hand straight up.
So here we go with Crook to feed it. Whitehaven still looking for something here. Love to get a try.
Well, they won't give in. It's not the nature of the game. They're great competitors.
This is Taylor. Gets up and plays it. Newton again operating at dummy half here. Eventually, when the tackle's complete. And now it is complete. This is the coach, Foster. Holding that ball tight, doesn't want to lose it. Want to keep his feet as well, and he's done that. Newton spinning it left. Now they're trying to get a bit of width out there as well. Jesse Joe Parker coming back down the middle. Was he taken high? Yes, he was. Look of anguish on his face. The referee gives a penalty. So this sets up position for a good set of 6 here for Whitehaven now.
A good place for them to get a penalty. Saying that Jacks, after his break, has also committed the foul. So a bit of field position for Whitehaven. Will we see another trick kick play?
Well, it's been the fanciest eye-catching moment of the match so far, hasn't it? Brian will be putting his thoughts to the man of the match in these next few minutes, and will be telling us who he thinks it is before the end of play. 8 minutes to go. Oh, when that ball comes out with us, the contact there, wasn't it?
It was Emmett again, wasn't it? I think it was. Maybe Everett.
And now Whitehaven have been called offside, so penalty for Toronto. Well, they have been tested, haven't they, the Wolfpack today? A couple of weeks ago against Siddle in the Cup, that was a big test in the mud, and they just got through that. Last week on the fast track at London, they showed their wares, their skills and their style with that 76-0 win. But here today, Whitehaven, a club with lots of tradition and pride and a team that is full of real heart and soul, have pushed them almost to the limit. But Toronto are going to find a way through. Taken in by Dixon. Crossley barging in.
Looking to try and exploit. Bit of an offload there. Play on, is it?
Oh, it's gone,
Yep,
it's gone
off his
free.
feet.
So here they come, Laithwaite, QLT joining in from full-back, puts the step on, but he doesn't trick that Whitehaven defence. Toronto looking to finish in style. As stylish as you can do on a day like today. Spun to the ground is Everett. With one tackle to go. One play in this set. QLT quickly bats it on. Whiting tries to loop it out. I think that might have got a Toronto, a Whitehaven touch on the way out.
It did. I think it's 6 more players to Toronto at the scrum.
I'm going to duck down here because they'll be
me
blaming
too.
you again, Brian.
Absolutely, there we go.
They're giving it to Toronto. No, nobody's bothered. I think they're even bored of shouting at you now, the Whitehaven supporters.
I'm going to walk behind you, coming out.
They'll still see you, either side of me. The bits that stick out. So 6 tackles to go here for the Toronto Wolfpack. 10 metres away. Would love to get up to the round 30 mark if they can. On a day that has been tough, a real slog in the mud. And here they go. Well, eventually, when the ball is fed. I think there's a foot up there somewhere, isn't there? I think there's a foot up. Question being asked by Gary
Whose
Wheeler.
foot is it?
I don't know. It could be anybody's foot in there, couldn't it? But it is fed by Wheeler, and now they come. 6 to go from here. Wallace throwing it out to that left-hand side. Hall's dropped it again. Chance for a pick-up here. The ball is swept out to this right-hand side, and Thompson cuts back and finds that Wallace is in his way. So Whitehaven survive, and they get a penalty as well. So untidy. Untidy. Kick out of play. Oh, it's not gone. It's not gone. Will it? Will it? Will it? No. Yes. Yes. No. No. Kay just gets a hand to that.
Did well there, Kay. Dove to keep the ball in.
Chase was on. Pownall throws it wide to Wheeler. Wheeler cutting back on the inside again. And here's support down the middle from Everett, who's just inside Whitehaven territory. Jacks looking right to Crossley.
Good tackle from Marker from Newton, was it again? Foster.
Bussey is pushing away defenders. His pass is a bit loose, but they've kept it. They've kept possession in the shape of Everett, who pushes in 30 metres away from this Whitehaven line. The home side desperate to hold out, not concede again here. Wallace with a pass. Lovely little hands there. Hall, he's lost it again.
Not a good 5 minutes, is it, Craig Hall?
I think it's a hat-trick today for Craig Hall of drop balls. But,
little intricate pass plays in between each other, and yeah, I have to say that again. Thompson comes in, reads the play quite well. Oh, he's saying Thompson knocked it forward.
Oh,
I'm going to duck behind you again here now.
Yeah.
Oh, something's on report here.
There's a lady down there with a pint of something purple who's furious.
I don't know why they're looking at me.
Oh, they're having a go at the referee rather than Brian at the moment, which is a relief to us all. But it is going to be head and feed for Whitehaven after all of that. So I don't know what all the complaints are about. They do get possession, so they can bring it clear. 3.5 minutes to go in this game. Penalty. Thought about the quick tap. Did Mark Shackley. I think they would have been screaming in his ear, "Don't do that, Mark, don't do that." Let's kick to touch, and this time they find touch. And a little ironic cheer because they found touch with the penalty. But Whitehaven in good position now to have a real go. 40 away. 5 tackles to go. But it's hard work to cover those. But that's a great pass from Shackley, wasn't it?
The great tackle as well, and it had to be made. I think it was Bussey, was it? Came in.
Forster put down, 30 yards away. Still a handful of tackles in the back. Newton out of dummy half, comes right now to Crook. Crook with the quick hands to Tilley. Tilley. 20 away. McAvoy. Looking inside. Kick again from Roper. The chase is on. And it's going to be a submission almost behind the line to concede the dropout underneath the sticks.
Yeah, safety first from Johnny Pownell. Gets back there. We've seen you can't change direction. You've got to secure the ball first. So he does that and grounds the ball dead in goal. Goal line dropout. Whitehaven finish with another kick play there. I think that's the best opportunity to fracture this Toronto line.
Well, you've had to think about your man of the match here today. Who have you come up with?
I think we've had some outstanding contributions from on the Toronto side, from Liam Kay and Pownell, the wingers, QLT trying to increase. But it goes to, I'm going to give it to a forward from the Wolfpack who I thought's been. Nobody sees the hard work that they do in these conditions to set things up. So Jake Emmett gets the tick today because I think he's been outstanding around the middle. Whitehaven have played their part really well.
He's hiding.
Yeah, he's hiding.
He doesn't like the limelight.
Doesn't like the limelight. You know, you have to say that Whitehaven's has Roper and Crook with the little touches have been great. Jesse Joe Parker trying to release him all the time, but the Wolfpack's defence has been very, very strong. Only broken and prized open by a kick play.
Shackley wants to get up and play this, has a look at the referee. Might have been a second effort, he thinks. But now they come, there's the kick. And the chase is on for Thompson, who puts a delicate little chip over. And touchdown by Chris Taylor. Taylor scores a second of the game for Whitehaven. It almost looked like he was a defender back there, didn't he, diffusing it in all that muddy confusion. I think one or two Whitehaven fans in front of us thought it might have been a Toronto player, but it was Chris Taylor.
I think it's a kick play for a kick play. He chips it, could have dove himself, probably maybe got the finish, but great finish and well deserved right at the end of this game from Whitehaven. Goes to the line, Crook again with the kick play. Easy pick it up and dive. QLT coming across trying to make the play and good try.
Well done, Taylor. He'll have had some dark times in his career, wouldn't he, when he had that really bad shoulder injury when he was younger, when he was at Wigan, and suggestions he might not play the game that he loved, but he recovered from that, and he's a try scorer today for Whitehaven. And Paul Crook with what might be the last kick off the game. They're having trouble making these balls balance on the tees today, aren't they? Now it goes. Equal record point scorer at Rochdale Hornets. Bagged many a point at the Hornets, and he's just added another couple in his Whitehaven career as well. Good kick. 10 points for Whitehaven, 24 for Toronto is how it will finish. And I think you can gauge from the reaction of the Whitehaven fans how proud they are of their team's efforts today here in the mud.
Well done both teams. Well done Whitehaven. Aimed up in the conditions. The Toronto Wolfpack had to use all of those attributes we talked about before the game, about courage and bravery and discipline and keeping the faith in their process, and you can see how much it means to this Whitehaven team. Carl Foster's getting him into the middle and saying this is what we can do if we stick together and play well together. So well done Whitehaven.
Well, they got into the winning style last week in South Wales, did Whitehaven, losing their first home match here today, but plenty to build on that, I'm sure. And Toronto Wolfpack marching on. It's now 2 wins out of 2 as far as they're concerned, both on their travels, of course. It's still 3 or 4 weeks before they retreat back to Toronto for that match against Oxford. But well, it was a very different game to what we saw 6 days ago, 7 days ago, when they went to London on the 4G pitch and ran riot today. They've really had to work hard against a very, very tough Whitehaven side but they have managed to see it through. We're going to go down and be hearing from some of the combatants in just a moment's time. Get some thoughts, and we'll be looking back at some of the action as well. But the Whitehaven players coming across here to their supporters. Great response from young and old alike. They appreciate how hard they've worked against this multi-talented, multi-million-pound, if you like, Toronto side. Well, a few quid anyway.
Yeah, they deserve the plaudits. Let's hope this kick-starts their season in relation to what they want to do. This Whitehaven team, crowd clearly pleased with what they've dished up today, and you have to say, you know, they finished the game strongly as well. So take that into their coming fixtures. They should be sweet.
Toronto side as well are going to get some plaudits too. But a victory here for Toronto, 24 points to 10. And we'll be back with interviews after this break.